So then in 2025, after the president tried to abuse that power, they clarified that the individual subject to detention and removal under that statute is entitled to, quote, judicial review as to, quote, questions of interpretation and constitutionality of the act, as well as whether or not he or she is, quote, in fact, an alien enemy 14 years or older.
Wait, no, you just threw in things that are not true. So no, that doesn't mean they are entitled.
That's a direct quote from the Supreme Court. What the fuck are you talking about?
Quite frankly, you need to subscribe to Rinnycast.
I'm gonna have to pull up some pictures, I think.
Yeah, my point in the grand scheme of things, completely marginal.
Is people getting sent to torture prisons is marginal? I disagree.
I don't agree with the positive claim that it's a torture prison.
Okay, I'm pulling up evidence.
Why do you not believe that?
Because to me, torture would be like direct violence towards a person on an institutional level of direct violence towards prisoners.
You don't think one person can torture somebody else?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Some unruly guard could torture a prisoner. That doesn't mean it's happening on an institutional, like a systematic level.
So if we have reports constantly saying that on a systematic level, prisons within El Salvador torture their inmates, and then we have other reports of the warden of CCOT basically bragging about torturing certain people when they're asked about, oh, don't you think like some of the conditions in this prison are a little inhumane? He says, oh, well, they are gang members, right? Like,
but that doesn't mean torture, right? Inhumane does not equate to torture.
What do you?
Sure, but then we have when we have State Department reports repeatedly saying that El Salvadorian prison systems torture their inmates.
We were specifically talking about CCOT, right?
Yes.
Sure. What's going to separate CCOT from the rest of the El Salvadorian prison system?
Well, because you're saying that we sent these prisoners specifically to this prison.
Correct. So if we have State Department reports saying that El Salvador is repeatedly torturing their inmates, what do you expect to happen?
So are these reports just photos?
They're State Department reports.
That involve what evidence? Because all I've heard so far is just pictures
State Department reports will, so those reports, the 2022 one and the 2023 one, will involve like people on the ground interviewing the people after they're freed, or, interviews with the guard member or with the guards of the prisons, or, independent journalists finding out about instances of torture. Right. The thing that Parker's bringing up to you is the Human Rights Watch report after all of the people that we sent to CCOT had been freed as a part of a prisoner exchange. They would basically interview the people as a part of the Red Cross or Human Rights Watch or whatever. Literally every single person we asked reported instances of torture, and all of the forensic evidence that they provided to Human Rights Watch was consistent with torture.
And you're saying in 2022 and 2023, these are
in 2022 and 2023, those were the first two initial State Department reports. The one that Parker is showing you pictures from is the Human Rights Watch report.
November of 2025.
These are all baseless claims. Your claim is that everyone.
No, these are not. What do you mean these are baseless claims? I'm giving you the bases right now.
Prove it. Prove all these claims. I'm sure. Show me the report.
Parker literally just brought the report up on screen, big dog.
It says everyone they asked claimed torture. That's what you said.
Yes, correct.
That's correct.
Where does it say that?
Let's bring it up. Give me 1 second, buddy.
We can find the 144. Or was it not 144?
It's also important to note here that the people that weren't,
they interviewed 40 people who had been held in CCOT and 150 people with credible knowledge of the experiences of the Venezuelans detained there, including relatives and lawyers.
Of Venezuelans
so
detained
that's
there?
how.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Every single person they asked reported torture.
Yeah, can I see that? I thought you were going to show me that.
Okay, yeah, sure. So from here to here.
Can you zoom out a little bit? Okay, so where does it say they all claimed that they were being tortured?
I can go pull that part up. This was just part of their statement about
So
how
go
they got
to
this
page
information.
50. Go to page 54, Parker. It says
Okay.
all people detained in CCOT that Human Rights Watch and Crystal interviewed said prison guards and riot police had subject them to regular physical, verbal, and psychological abuse from the moment they arrived in the country. These abuses amounted to cruel, inhuman, and degraded treatment, and in many cases torture under international human rights law. Page 54 of this
PDF
report.
page 54.
Yeah, of the Human Rights Watch
PDF.
report.
So 49 on the thing.
49
all the
on the
people,
thing.
okay,
Yeah.
here I guess I can just pull it up, or I can just turn the camera on.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. Definitely very anecdotal slash. I mean,
Stop.
yeah,
What turns
very
anecdotes
convincing.
into data?
Doesn't it stop being
Very
anecdotes
convincing.
after 190 people confirmed it? Doesn't it start to just be a pattern when
No,
100% of the people that have been
290
subject to this said so?
just 290 people confirming something? No, it's still anecdotal. Yeah.
Every single person they talked to confirmed it. It wasn't just 190 people. It was every person they talked to. It was 100% of the people they communicated with confirmed it. Not just 190. That is the 190 they spoke to. If we were to look at trends, that means that it would be every single person in there would say that. If we're just to look at trends.
Right, but Human Rights Watch has always, I mean, they've always been notorious for spreading false information, by the way. This happened, and again,
Do you have any evidence that they're spreading false information here?
Yeah, if you want me to pull it up, I mean, not revolving
on this report.
issue, but,
you have to do it on this issue. Yeah.
Well, no, because you're appealing to authority here. You're just saying because they said they interviewed.
Do you have anything to counter? Do you have anything to counter my authority right now?
Meaning them, the people that they talk to.
A counterfactual of anything that I've brought up.
Well, I would argue verbal abuse is not torture, and you just said that all of them either said there's verbal. They didn't all say all three things as conjuncts. They said one of the three things. So I would argue, I would push back.
Can I give you testimony from one of the people real quick? Can I give you testimony? He said four guards sexually abused him and forced him to perform oral sex on one of them. They played with their batons on my body. People held in CCOT said sexual abuse affected more people, but victims were unlikely to speak about what they had suffered due to stigma.
Dude, like, no offense, you guys are just grasping at straws here. So, like I said,
we're not. If I have 190 people claiming,
I can explain why you're grasping at straws.
Let's make sure that we're super clear as to what we're grasping at straws at, right?
Yes.
So we have 150 people confirming every single one of them that they've been beaten or physically abused or psychologically abused, right? So all of those people confirming that, right? And then then both of the State Department reports saying that El Salvador tortures their prisoners, and then another court filing from somebody that we sent to CCOT alleging under threat of perjury that he was tortured in El Salvador, and the warden of the president bragging about how these people get beaten because they're gang members. So is all of that anecdotal? I'm sorry.
Wait, you're conflating a lot of.
How many anecdotes does it take? How many anecdotes does it take for you?
Even your first piece of evidence claiming 150 people claimed verbal or physical abuse would mean that some of those people didn't claim torture. So that's not saying 150 people claimed they were torturing them. Verbal abuse is not torture, by the way.
Did you read did you hear when we read the second part of that sentence?
What? Which part of it? I'm confused. What?
These abuses amounted to cruel, inhumane, and degrading treatment, and in many cases, torture under international human rights law?
In many cases.
Or did we just ignore that?
And by the way, you provided.
Wait, I'm sorry. Okay, my bad. If it's 130 people out of 190 people who got legally tortured, why does that help?
You can't even speak to that, though. That's the point. You don't even know how many people claimed physical abuse versus verbal abuse. You don't know.
Do you want to read through? Do you want to read through the cases that claimed physical abuse? Like, we could read through all of these cases. It doesn't. Do you understand that this report isn't just one sentence and then it just moves on? Like, we've read the testimony from the people.
Again, my point is, A, this is not evidence that it's a torture camp. B, it's marginal because the administration, like you said,
well, it's evidence that torture happens at the prison.
Wasn't trying to defend the oversight. They admitted the oversight. So
just out of
again,
curiosity, what's the bar that it would take for us to prove that CCOT tortures their inmates? What's the bar?
Well, maybe like people that have physical signs of that, and you have witnesses.
That's in the report. That's in the report. That's in the report. Both of those things are in the report.
Hold on. I showed you those pictures, what do you think I was showing you? Were just like gross things?
Wait, hold on. By that definition of a torture camp, pretty much every prison in the United States is a torture camp. Would you agree with that?
No, that's not true. No.
Wait, so hold on. So there's not evidence in most cases of prisons in the United States that there are guards that have physically harmed prisoners and have verbally abused them.
Say that again?
It depends.
So
Is it justified
in the United States, if I find a prison in the United States where there's sufficient cases of guards physically abusing and verbally abusing inmates, are those all torture camps?
That if you can find a prison in the United States where 150, like every single person that you ask reports either psychological or physical abuse, then yeah, probably. When it comes down to people alleging, their teeth being broken because of beatings, saying that they would be beaten if they didn't get dressed quick enough, all of their accounts like working in conjunct with each other, none of them contradicting one another.
Wait, how are you making these baseless claims that no one contradicted?
Because I fucking read the report that you're pretending to have read.
Oh, and you're claiming there's no contradiction in statements in that report.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna be a dick. Okay, you have the burden of proof. Where's a contradiction in that report?
Jesus Christ. Well, just based on your logic, there are plenty of torture camps throughout the United States.
Okay, so just walk off of that. So I'm going to restate that because you didn't contradict anything that I said. So all of these people's testimonies conjunct with each other. I read the report. I know this. I can speak on it. Okay. All of these people's reports conjunct with each other. Again, this is going hand in hand with the fact that the wardens brag about torturing people. The State Department report in 2022 found that El Salvador tortures people in their prison system. The Department report in 2023 found the same exact thing. What indication would we have that El Salvador would treat these people properly, especially when we weren't giving them the ability to challenge their deportation?
We don't need to be concerned necessarily with El Salvador's care of people that shouldn't be in our country. You do realize.
Okay, Father, so that was actually such a bad fucking answer that I'm going to let you retry that. I won't hold that against you if you don't want me to. I'll let you re-answer that question if you want me to. Because that answer is like actually fucking evil. So if you want to retry, I'll give you another try, buddy.
Hold on. How the fuck is that evil to say that people that we deport out of our country, we, to a degree...
We're choosing where we deport them, dumbass. We send them to where we want to send them. We sent them to a torture prison.
And they weren't from El Salvador, and we paid $6 million to Bukele to send them there. Right? So it's not like, we just sent them to some place and they got eaten by a bear or whatever. Like, we knew where we were sending them.
Correct me if I'm wrong. The people that we've sent to this prison, we suspect / have evidence of them being criminals, correct?
Nope.
Did you say no?
Yep. You're incorrect.
So which of the people in this prison currently that their administration hasn't admitted oversight to don't have criminal allegations against them?
I think it was somewhere between like 40 and 50%.
According to what?
According to everything. We've had CBS look into this. We've had Human Rights Watch look into this.
When you look at the names conjunction with a criminal report, some of 48% of the names had no criminal report.
Wait, but again, if we've deemed you might be missing the fact that when we deem.
So do you think that only half of them should get tortured?
I'm not saying any of them should get tortured.
It's kind of what you said earlier, but I mean, I guess you never retried that question.
He's just saying that the U.S. shouldn't care about it.
Wait. All I said is, to a certain degree, we can't be responsible for people that are no longer in our country. And
is that what you said?
No criminal history and pending charges. How many of the people have pending charges and no criminal history?
Again, people that are part of a group that we've deemed to be a T group.
Prove it.
What was the process of them being deemed a part of that T group?
Evidence that they're part of a gang.
Prove it. Did those people ever get the opportunity to challenge that evidence?
Hold on.
Father, did those people ever get the ability? Did those people ever get the ability to challenge that determination? Father?
Sorry, what was your question?
Did those people ever get the ability to challenge that determination? Or was it just DHS said this person was a part of a gang and threw them out of the country?
Yeah, I mean, no. Well, in most cases, no, and that's
Yeah,
the
no.
way our law is written.
No, that's not the way our law is written.
It absolutely is.
It's
There's no
not. JGG literally, the court case said that it was not proper, right? Ludecky v. Watkins, the case law litigating the Alien Enemies Act said that's not proper. You know, the process for being determined an alien enemy, the reason that somebody is determined an alien enemy is questionable by the courts. Donald Trump never gave them the ability to challenge it. And there's a reason, because none of them actually, had a leg to stand on, right? Like, they didn't have a leg to stand on. Most of these people didn't have a criminal record. Like Abrego Garcia, look at the fucking failure that happened with him, right? Like, it's in the Trump administration's interest to not let any of this go to court.
Hold on. Alien Enemies Act does not necessitate that someone is seen if they fall under that group that is that we are enforcing the Alien Enemies Act upon. If they're not required to be seen by a magistrate, so they don't have the right to make their case. That's not wrong. How's that wrong?
You're wrong, because they need to have some ability. Okay, they're not allowed to have no ability, right? So Ludecky v. Watkins, this was litigated when we were doing the Japanese internment stuff, right? The question as to whether or not somebody was an alien enemy was up for judicial review. That's why when we were doing the Alien Enemies Act in that time, this is why that famous quote saying we gave more due process to the German people in 1940 than we gave to these people is because we actually put them before a hearing board to where they could present the evidence that they're not an alien enemy. And then if they weren't an alien enemy, they would walk. Do you know what the process for somebody challenging their determination of being an alien enemy was under the Trump administration?
Wait. If that's the case, then why have we seen no?
So that's not
Father, that was a question. That wasn't a statement. That was a question. Do you know what the process by which you would challenge your status as an alien enemy was under the Trump administration?
No, please enlighten me.
Nothing.
Right, because you
That's the
have
problem.
no right to do so if you fall under that.
You're wrong. You're wrong. The Supreme Court disagrees with you, and the precedents disagrees with you.
That monologue that he just gave, that was him proving that there is precedence for these people to get process. Also, it's 87% of people here have no proper criminal history. Either no history, pending charges, or not included in ICE removal data.
And watch, this is going to be super funny. He said, can I show you evidence? The bar for evidence of torture in CCOT needs to be literal video footage in El Salvador of somebody being tortured, whereas he's just going to, I almost promise you he's going to pull me out an out-of-context quote from Ludecky. I can almost promise you that. Watch.
It's going to take a while. I don't know if he knows how to spell Ludecky. Okay, we had evidence, or we have information on 226 or 252 of the Venezuelans we sent. Only 8 of them have a violent or potentially violent offense. 8.
I can almost promise you he's gonna pull up the fucking quote from Ludecky where it's like the question as to, or the power of the courts to look over the
Ironically, if I pulled up Human Rights Watch to prove you wrong, would that work for you?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
One report counters the other. LOL.
By the way, I don't know if you think that Human Rights Watch has any sort of binding precedent over the Alien Enemies Act. It's more so litigated by courts, but that's fine.
Oh, I didn't. So they're like, did you mention Ludecky versus Watkins?
Yep.
And how they upheld? I'm confused. How they upheld removal
Yeah, so
and not having to be seen by a judge.
here's the problem, okay? Well, you said I was monologuing. Do you remember what I said in that monologue?
No, please tell me.
I said that their due process rights were satisfied by going before a hearing board. And what that hearing board would give the alien enemies the ability to do is prove that they were not deportable under the Alien Enemies Act. That constituted their due process rights. What process existed for the deportations under Trump's administration?
LMAO. So that hearing board, was that under the discretion of the executive branch?
It was. I think it was headed by the Attorney General.
So was it? Wait. I'm pretty sure it was at the discretion of the executive branch to create that hearing board, right?
At the discretion. What do you mean when you say that?
Meaning it was the president's decision or the executive branch decision to have them go before this hearing board. That ruling.
And then that did what? That constituted their due process rights. Thank you.
Wait, that's the dumbest thing ever. Due process would only involve in this
Father,
case.
I know it's the dumbest thing ever when you are quoting me a case you've never read. It literally explicitly says that in Ludecky v. Watkins.
No, you're misinterpreting what they upheld there. They're
okay, so tell me what I'm misinterpreting when I read this quote. The fact that hearings are utilized by the executive branch to secure an informed basis for the exercise of summary power does not argue the right of the courts to retry such hearings, nor bespeak the denial of due process to withhold such power from the courts. What do you think I'm misinterpreting when I read that?
Yeah, the due process doesn't have to go through the courts. In that case, there was literally no due process.
I agree. That is no. The fact that it didn't go through the courts doesn't mean there was no due process. It literally said to secure an informed basis for the exercise of summary power. So where did Donald Trump do that with his invocation of the Alien Enemies Act, Father?
All that's doing is upholding the executive branch.
He didn't, and that's why it got cut down in WMM versus Trump and JGG versus Trump. What am I misinterpreting? I literally just read you the quote, big dog.
What was the contention that the Supreme Court was deciding upon?
In what?
In that case.
Which case? I just named you three. Which case?
The Watkins case in 1948.
They argued that there was a denial of due process rights.
Correct. And all they did in that was
and the court said what?
Uphold the executive branch's discretion on how they handle this deportation.
Yeah, what was the reason that they gave that discretion?
Because of the Alien Enemies Act.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'll cite it.
You haven't read the case. You're citing a case you've never read. Because I know you haven't read it, because in that same case, it says the additional question as to whether the person restrained is in fact an alien enemy 14 years or older may also be reviewed by the courts. So instead of like just kind of like ChatGPT in quotes from a case you haven't read, maybe just go read, maybe just concede.
Hold on. That's still a misinterpretation. Just them saying that the courts can review.
Father, have you read this case?
Hold on, just quickly. I just don't think you understand English. For the courts to say there that they are still able to review whether they're an Alien Enemy Act, whether they're an alien enemy at all, has nothing to do with them upholding the lack of due process.
The lack of due process, they're not claiming a lack of due process. They're saying their due process rights were serviced by the Alien Enemies Board. That's the direct quote from Ludecky. So again, instead of just arguing with me over a case you haven't read, just go read it. It's super easy. You don't need to speak on things that you don't know about, Father. It's okay. I promise you it's okay.
So, well, I mean, hold on. So let me just pull this up for you, but where are they saying that there has to be some sort of hearing board?
I literally just told you that the due process rights of these people were upheld through the hearing board. That was the basis on which they said that their due process rights were not robbed.
So wait. So again, this is why I'll pull it up for you. But you do realize them saying that their due process was upheld via this hearing board or whatever is not saying anything about the president's discretion in terms of determining how we're going to deport these people.
No, they're saying that this upheld their due process. No, it's not unilateral. And we know it's not unilateral because JGG shot it down. We know this.
That's because they claimed that he wasn't an alien enemy or it was under But just hold on, just let me pull 1948 up.
Yes. What do you think I'm arguing about? I'm saying that these alleged alien enemies should be able to argue the fact that they're an alien enemy. What do you think I'm arguing?
You're still missing the point. That's not what
No,
they're
you're not
saying
making a point. It's really easy to miss a point that's not been made.
They're just saying that he wasn't an alien enemy. That's not saying that if he is, the president can't remove him without the courts, without going through courts.
Yeah, you can't challenge a removal if you are deemed an alien enemy. There just needs to be an informed basis on determining if you're an alien enemy and the ability to challenge your status as an alien enemy. So again, if you're saying I'm missing a point, sounds like a you problem because you're not making one. And you're not understanding the one that I'm making. This is a tracking error. Let's lock in, buddy. And also keep in mind, okay, he needs to keep leaving. Like, I don't know if this is a case of he makes a point, doesn't realize how underbaked it is, and then just types whatever I say back into ChatGPT. Like, I don't know what's happening right now, okay? But maybe just don't do the research on the spot, buddy. You can drop down. No one's going to blame you.
It'd be fire if it was just, you know what, I'm going to go do more research and then go do it.
Yes, that would be awesome. Yeah, just go read JGG, go read WMM, go read Ludecki. Yeah, super cool. But you can't go read those cases because you would just agree with me. That's the problem. Because keep in mind, this is what JGG versus Trump says. We have held an individual subject to detention and removal under that statute is entitled to judicial review as to questions of interpretation and constitutionality of the act, as well as if he or she is an alien enemy 14 years of age or older.
Yeah. So wait. So this within this case, it says multiple times that Congress gave the president authority to remove an alien enemy from the country without needing to go through the court, right? So that and by the way, that's not saying that the president has to.
Oh, this is a tracking error.
How is that a tracking error? Wait,
what was my claim?
Your claim was they're saying you said that this case necessitates the president hold some sort of review or you said habeas, making a habeas claim here.
No, that was litigated in JGG. That was litigated in JGG that the path for somebody to contest their status as an alien enemy lies within a file for a writ of habeas corpus. Yeah, that was litigated after Donald Trump tried to rob these people of their due process rights, and he got struck down by SCOTUS, and then he tried again, and then he got struck down by SCOTUS again.
Wait, no, it's not saying that they can make it. Again, you're wrong. This is not saying that when the
Ludecki didn't litigate habeas. That's what I'm telling you. Ludecki did not litigate habeas.
You understand how you're completely wrong about 1948's case, right? You understand that you're 100% wrong about that.
What am I wrong on?
The court was not saying that because the president held this hearing for them, that somehow that's the only reason that he wasn't in violation of the Alien Enemies Act whatsoever.
Nobody's claiming a violation of the Alien Enemies Act, buddy. Lock in.
But the Alien Enemies Act allows the executive branch to remove people without going through the court, quote unquote, due process, right?
No, do you think due process is just going through the court?
So what's due process in the case? If the executive
it's giving you the process that's due. It's giving you the process that is due to you through law. That's what it is.
But that's the thing.
No, due process is when I have a prosecutor and a judge and a jury. Like, what are we
It's
doing?
just, but it's funny because like none of this, the Alien Enemies Act allows them to subvert any sort of process.
That's not
habeas.
true. Wait, of
Absolutely.
habeas?
How is that
Wait,
not true?
of habeas, that hadn't been
To
litigated
defend
yet.
himself.
No, not to defend
I'm saying the
themselves.
way
That's
it
not
reads.
true.
I'm saying
Where
the
does
way
the
the
Alien
act reads
Enemies Act
itself.
preclude somebody from defending themselves? Hello? That would just
How
give the
could they just-
president
wait.
summary authority to deport anybody for any reason. Lock in.
they're an
What the
alien-
fuck are you
if-
talking about?
How do you have to you have to eventually prove that they're an alien enemy?
Hold on. All we're saying is that people that are alien enemies, the
Uh-huh.
executive branch has unilateral authority to remove them.
Yeah, nobody's
Correct?
disagreeing with that. This
Then
is why
what's
I'm
the
saying this
difference?
is a
That's the
tracking
Actual
error.
reality.
Wait,
These
you're
are not
saying,
I'm saying
tracking
that
they
the
still
alien
require
enemies.
due process.
No, I'm saying that the alien enemies are required to have the ability to challenge their status as an alien enemy. Once they're actually fully litigated as an alien enemy, then yeah, get them the fuck out of here.
Wait, but all that requires is the president going to Congress and saying, well, actually, no, that's not even the case. The president has the authority to deem a certain group alien enemies.
No,
Yes.
no.
How so? Have you read the Alien Enemies Act? It doesn't
So
just say
deeming a
we have to have
group-
declared war. An imminent
Yeah,
threat would also deem that.
Father, I'd be
to be the
careful
case.
about accusing me of not reading something, buddy. You've just been floundering throughout this entire fucking conversation. So yes, the president has the ability to proclaim that somebody is subject to removals through the Alien Enemies Act. That does not mean that he has a magic wand that he can wave over somebody's head and say, you're an alien enemy, so you get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, actually, yes. He could deem someone to
actually,
be a
no.
group to be- So,
So
how
just out of curiosity, if Donald Trump signed a proclamation saying all Democrats are alien enemies, and then he waved a magic wand and said, you're a Democrat, you're out of here, what do I do? What do I do in that situation?
Well, you would bring a court case against the government.
How?
What?
Wait, what? I'm not given any ability to challenge it.
How? There is
Well,
no
if he
challenge.
just hold on. If he just goes and removes you, well, then someone will bring that case to the government. I mean,
On what grounds? You'd have no standing. You have no due process rights as an alien
On the
enemy.
grounds that you're not an alien enemy.
Right. Oh my God. Yes. Yes, I love you, Father.
How are
That's
you
true.
not tracking?
So
Where's
that
the-
means
where's the
that
dog in
alien
the
enemies get
sunset,
the
bro?
ability to challenge whether or not they're an alien enemy, correct?
No. Once again, no.
What the?
That doesn't mean if you get removed from the country because you're deemed to be an alien enemy, that does not give you, where in the Alien Enemies Act does it suggest that you have the right to contend that you're not an alien enemy?
That was litigated in Ludecky v. Watkins. Let's lock in.
No,
Like, what are you?
it wasn't.
Do you understand that you
Quite
just
literally was
contradicted
not.
yourself?
You're wrong.
Father, do you
You're wrong.
understand that
was
you
not
just
litigated.
contradicted yourself?
That was not litigated in
That
Watkins-
was
the Watkins
litigated.
case. Prove it.
I read you the quote.
Read it again. I promise you never read
No,
a quote.
no,
Tracking
fuck you.
history,
I'm not gonna
tracking
read it
history,
again.
tracking
But how
history.
about you just listen
All
when I
you
talk,
said-
big
all-
dog?
All you said was that this hearing board was sufficient due process. That's all you said.
That's the only thing that you
Wow.
heard.
What do you think the
motherfucker,
hearing
right?
board did, Father? What do you think the hearing board
Do you realize
did?
that doesn't mean that you have the ability under the Alien Enemies Act to defend yourself against that.
What the fuck do
Do
you
you
think
not
the hearing
understand
board
English?
did, Father?
I'm not, but hold on. Just saying that the hearing
You
board
would go,
existed
okay, so
and then it was sufficient.
you said, wait,
doesn't-
hold on. So that's a translation for,
doesn't-
no, I don't know. Please explain to me,
doesn't mean-
Ringyal, because
oh my
I don't
God.
know anything about anything. So what
Does that mean
happens
the
was
hearing board's required?
an alleged
I'll make it
alien
real
enemy would
simple.
go before a hearing board and they
I'll make
would
it real
prove
simple.
that they are not an alien enemy if they were. I don't know what you
I'll
think
make
the
it
alien
so
enemy
simple
hearing
for you.
board did.
Their interpretation of the Constitution there,
Yes.
did they necessitate that there was a hearing board? Did they say that's required?
They
in the future?
necessitated that there was an informed basis that you would determine somebody is an alien enemy, and that would satisfy their due process rights.
Absolutely, but are they requiring that prior to deportation? Where is that?
When do you think it would take place?
sorry,
Do you think you
preceding
deport
deportation.
somebody and then
Sorry,
figure it out later?
Proceeding deportation. Where is that? Where is that coming from?
Proceeding deportation.
Yes. Where is it necessitating that the president holds a hearing board prior to deporting people to allow them to make their case to be alien, to deem whether they're alien enemies or not?
because they cited the hearing board as a successful example of providing due process that happens.
That doesn't necessitate it. Just because it's a successful example doesn't necessitate it.
It was a challenge on due process rights, dumbass. And it said that this hearing board satisfied their due process because the executive was able to get an informed basis to determine somebody is an alien enemy.
No, it just upheld the Alien Enemies Act being used in this case.
On what grounds, Father?
That doesn't necessitate a
On what grounds did they find that this was an appropriate usage of the Alien Enemies Act, Father?
Multiple grounds.
What was the grounds that they found satisfied their due process rights?
Multiple grounds. I can pull them up for you.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry for stealing your life, Parker. I know you don't like when I do this.
No, it's fine. Because this doesn't feel like bullshit. Sometimes it just feels like bullshit. This doesn't feel like bullshit. This is based. Also, this is like, I think it's your best subject. I like your J6 stuff, but I think this one's better.
Thank you. Also, thank you, Akira, for calling me a radical Democrat fraudster. It's true. I'm showing that this unfortunate man was defrauded by his state's education. Only a real fraudster would know how to point that out.
Sure. Takes one an Ellen type shit.
Yes, exactly.
More time spent on Teacup or like us? Or with his profile picture or not? What do you think?
What are the what's the likelihood that Father will find the many grounds? Which,
there
by the way,
grounds. What a just like broad ass answer to avoid.
All of this is just such a fucking walk off too. Keep in mind, okay? Like,
such a what?
Such a walk off. The fact is, this was already all of this. Like, this is just litigating whether or not the government had malice in doing this.
So
okay, it's not litigatable at all that these people's due process rights were robbed of them. That's not litigatable at all. That's already been found.
So you've seen the grounds that Justice Frankfurt said is why this was upheld, correct?
Uh-huh.
And okay, so I'll pull it up for you.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he was hoping you would say no there.
But what I was saying is that, like, all of this is already litigated. Like, the only thing we're arguing is whether or not the Trump administration acted in bad faith. All of this has already been litigated in JGG versus Trump. Literally all of it. Because, believe it or not, there's no world where your due process rights are upheld by nothing. It's just not. There's not a world where that happens.
It can't happen. Yeah. It's impossible. Well, they are gang members.
Yes, we're talking about the AEA deportations, correct?
The Georgia case.
True.
Did you not know they are gang members? Could you pull it, like, because I don't have a computer in front of me. Can I give you the part of this, the opinion, and you pull it up?
Sure.
Oh, he's really doing the citation.
Just give me something to control F. I'll find it, big dog.
I love control F. Best research method.
The Alien Enemies Act has remained the law of the land, and then it goes into, and this is the grounds for which this was upheld. It's that are you control F-ing this?
Yeah, I'm not finding. Hold on. The Alien Enemies. I'm misspelling enemy. Oh, it's the Alien Enemy Act. LOL.
No S. God, Renil, did you actually read the case, bro?
Oh wait, hold on.
I put the beginning of the quote in the chat if that makes it easier.
Has
It just says that it rejects the notion that this has to go through the courts. Meaning, the person has no, there's no obligation to necessitate that this person,
you
can
can't
give their
see
case.
I'm face palming so hard right now.
What's the face palm?
It's a tracking error. I didn't say this needs to go through the courts.
Oh my
Wait.
God.
Holy fuck. So so in order for a person to be for the executive branch to be obligated to give this person the chance to make their case as to why they're not an alien enemies, you would argue that would only really go through the court. And just them citing in this case, wow.
I literally, I don't know. Why do you think I brought up Ludecky? I said it was satisfied by the Alien Enemy Hearing Board. That's not a court.
Just saying it was satisfied does not necessitate that there has to be any due process at all. You're still missing this, but you're like cherry picking from this case, and it's actually
why
working
would
against
Ludecky
you.
v. Watkins claim that? Why wouldn't they just claim that they have no due process? I can answer that question for you. It's because due process.
Not saying that. It's not claiming that. I mean, if you read what I just put, if you go Control F that, it's not saying that they need due process whatsoever. It's literally said in this.
No, the Fifth Amendment says that. The Fifth Amendment says that you need due process.
And the AA also Article 2.
Are you going to say the AEA gets rid of the Fifth Amendment?
Article 2, Article 2 trumps the Article 2
You're
trumps
wrong.
the Fifth Amendment. How so?
You're saying that a piece
Article
of
2 trumps the Fifth Amendment. Yes.
Article what in Article 2 would trump the Fifth Amendment here?
Trumping the commander-in-chief of the army.
Being the commander-in-chief of the army has nothing to do with removals under the Alien Enemies Act.
Absolutely, it does. What are you talking about? If there's an imminent threat, the president can unilaterally use our military to do whatever. Same would apply.
Are you fucking insane? If there's an imminent threat as determined by the president, he can do whatever with the military. Did you just? All right. I'll be extra charitable. All right. I already gave you a walk back chance that you didn't take, so I'll let you walk that back again. Are you standing by the statement that the Article 2 gives the president the authority to determine that something is a military conflict and then just do whatever he wants?
National security threat, correct? Yeah.
Okay.
You fucking idiot. That's why do you think we're able to strike Iran?
Father, I'm curious.
What's the legal basis?
Father, I have a hypothetical for you.
Wait,
do you think that?
What is the legal basis for us striking Iran?
Father, I have a question. Do you think if tomorrow Donald Trump says Jews run the government, so they're an imminent threat to the United States, I'm declaring all Jews alien enemies, do you think that would work?
And then Congress, that would go through Congress. They would say,
wait, why? Wait, what? Why would it go through Congress? It's an Article 2 ability. Why would that go through Congress?
No, after the fact, Congress can view that as, it wasn't an imminent threat. They can draw up articles of impeachment for an abuse of power.
Wait, an abuse of power? What power is being abused? What power is being abused?
Wait, hold on. I can make this real simple for you. Well, Article 2
I think you've made things too simple. All right. All you can do is make things simple. I want you to actually kind of like elevate it for me a little bit.
What's the legal basis for us striking Iran?
Was it just Article 2 authority and that's it?
Just give me the legal basis. You fucking idiot. No offense. Yeah, exactly. Again, you have no idea how we use Article 2.
We're not debating the strike on Iran.
I just gave you the constitutional authority or the constitutional.
No, you didn't. Where in Article 2 does it say that the president can do whatever he wants if he determines a state of national emergency? If that was true, why would the Alien Enemies Act even exist?
Do you even read? Have you even read Article 2?
Father, if it was true that the president could just determine a state of national
emergency
emergency and then
2, dude. You have no idea what
You're
you're
not-
talking
you're
about.
not
keep interrupting. You just don't know. You're so stupid. You don't even understand how stupid you are. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
got it.
if Article 2 gave the president the ability to declare a state of national emergency and then do whatever, why did they even pass the Alien Enemies Act?
To clarify, I mean, we pass acts all the time just to clarify things within the Constitution.
Okay. Clarify what? He has the right to do whatever, right? It's a state of national emergency. What would you even challenge him on the grounds of?
Well, because obviously, if we pass legislation that's more specific than the Constitution, then it doesn't need to. It subverts
Why?
Diverts SCOTUS to need to weigh in on this.
What would SCOTUS weigh in? What would SCOTUS weigh in on?
His ability to use the power itself. So if we have the Alien Enemies
Do you think
Act,
SCOTUS can regulate the president's ability under Article 2? They determine constitutionality.
Wow, you're dumb. You're really dumb. They can interpret whether his actions, his use of Article 2 was constitutional or not.
Okay.
They can interpret that.
Okay.
So we have legislation to specify the utilization of the Constitution or the meaning of the Constitution.
Okay. So
that's why legislation gets knocked down by SCOTUS. Upheld by SCOTUS.
Where's the case law that says that the president can just determine something a state of national emergency and then do whatever without upholding due process rights? Because I can say that JGG found the exact opposite, that a simple determination of national emergency still provides these people with the right to challenge through a writ of Panama is not a Supreme Court case.
Wait, hold on. Both SCOTUS and the OLC have weighed in on this. That, for instance, his actions in Panama.
On the Alien Enemies Act?
This wasn't even touched by SCOTUS, but the OLC weighed in on this.
Wait, if it wasn't touched by SCOTUS, it doesn't apply to what I'm talking about. Okay, so okay.
Wait, what? How does that not apply to what we're talking about?
Because I asked you for a SCOTUS case and you gave me OLC. That's not what I'm talking about. So if the president just had the ability to determine something a state of national emergency and then do whatever the fuck he wants, why would the court rule in April 7th of 2025, we have held an individual subject to detention and removal under that statute is entitled to judicial review as to questions of interpretation and constitutionality of the act, as well as if he or she is an alien enemy over 14 years or older? Why would they rule that if he could just do whatever?
Wait, why would they rule what specifically?
The sentence that I just read you.
What does that mean? Sorry.
It means that an individual subject to the Alien Enemies Act is entitled to judicial review as to questions of interpretation, constitutionality, and their status as an alien enemy.
Wait. Oh my God. You do realize that doesn't mean the person gets to make their case as to them not whether or not they're an alien enemies. It's just can be subject to judicial review. You do get that, the difference there, right?
As well as whether he or she is in fact an alien enemy 14 years or older.
Yes, this can be subject to judicial review. After he deports people, it can be subject to judicial review. You're totally right. I agree with you. That doesn't mean that people have the right.
You understand that JGG prevented further deportations using the Alien Enemies Act. This was preemptive.
Wait, that's because they're deeming these people to not be an imminent threat, which is how the Alien Enemies Act is written.
Why? Again, Father, just have some fucking humility. Don't comment on cases you know fuck all about. You don't know anything about this case.
Wait, hold on. That would be in direct contradiction to the Watkins case in 1948 if they're saying that somehow now people have to go through judicial review to be deemed alien enemies.
No, Ludecky v. Watkins left it open. JGG clarified.
We didn't leave it open. What?
They did leave it open.
Wait, Judge Frankfurt, like I just gave you what to Control F, clearly states that it's the president's discretion to remove these people without having to go through the courts. That would be judicial review, right? The same case
literally said the additional question as to whether somebody truly is in fact an alien enemy 14 years or older is additionally reviewable by court, right? So then in 2025, after the president tried to abuse that power, they clarified that the individual subject to detention and removal under that statute is entitled to, quote, judicial review as to, quote, questions of interpretation and constitutionality of the act, as well as whether or not he or she is, quote, in fact, an alien enemy 14 years or older.
Wait, no, you just threw in things that are not true. So no, that doesn't mean
No,
they are entitled.
that's a direct quote from the Supreme Court. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
But hold on. Them being entitled, like I said, to judicial review does not mean that the president can't remove them prior to that before that judicial review.
This Supreme Court case prevented further deportations by the Trump administration.
Not on the grounds that they weren't going in front of, that they needed to go in front
literally,
of
yes,
judges.
On those grounds. Literally, yes, on those grounds.
Oh my God. On the
case,
grounds.
Wait, Father, what case am I talking about right now?
On the ground, DDJ, whatever it's called. The
recent
Shut
the fuck up. Please, for the love of God, shut the fuck up.
But you're just wrong. You're just misinterpreting basic English.
You're misinterpreting the name of the case. Bro, talk about public misinterpretations. You don't even know the name of the case.
You just read to me your theory as to why.
No, I'm sorry. I repeated this verbatim quote. Verbatim quote.
Right, exactly. So why do I need to?
This isn't an interpretation. It's not an interpretation. I read the quote.
So I understand. So why do I need to know the name of the case if you just read me the quote that is justifying your stance in this debate?
I don't know how he does it. This is incredible.
Why do I need to know the name of the case?
Your buddy over here is wrong. That is not necessitating that they go in front of a judge prior to them being deported. All that is saying is that the Trump administration needs to further.
Okay,
wait,
can I tell you what I just gave you?
Quote. So the detainees are entitled to notice and opportunity to be heard appropriate to the nature of the case. The notice must be afforded with reasonable time and in such manner to actually allow them to seek habeas relief in the proper venue before such removal occurs. So do you want to keep poking at something that may not be accounted for and then have me read a quote that directly counters what you're claiming with absolute certainty? Or do you want to just shut the fuck up and stop talking about cases you haven't read?
That's because they're claiming that this group are not alien enemies. So all it is saying is that going forward, the administration needs to prove that they're alien enemies because the court doesn't feel convinced.
I know. Yes, I know. That's all I've been asking for. Again, it's tracking errors. Listen when I talk.
No, it's the opposite. I don't think you're tracking the sort of crux of this argument here. All I'm saying is that Trump, by acting accordingly with the AA or the Alien Enemies Act, was justified in doing so. And just because the court is asking now, they're saying, no, these people, we're not convinced these people are alien enemies. You need to prove to us first that they're alien enemies to continue this conduct, is in no way
saying that the Trump supporter needs to prove that they're alien enemies? So the Supreme Court saying you need to prove to us that these people are alien enemies is in no way saying that these people are entitled to the ability to determine if they're alien enemies? Is that what you're genuinely saying to me?
Oh my God. If there was a new, I'll make it very simple for you. If there was
a new complicate it. You're making it too simple. You're being simple right now. I don't want you to be simple. I want you to be smart.
If there's a new group that came about and Trump deemed them to be alien enemies, he could deport them without going through judicial review. You understand that?
Where does it say that in JGG?
It's literally written in the Alien Enemies Act that the president has unilateral authority to do, the executive branch has unilateral,
you just have no idea
unilateral authority to do so.
This is Dunning-Kruger, right? I don't know what to say. You're so stupid that you don't understand how stupid you are. This is the biggest problem. Why are you commenting on cases? You don't even know the name of this case. Why are you making statements as to what the case says?
What did you think Judge Frankfurt meant in the Watkins case when he said that the president these deportees aren't subject to going through a judicial process? I
never contested that. That's the beauty of it. I never contested that. You just didn't listen when I spoke.
Wait. So you're saying that's what the court's opinion was in 1948, but now the court's saying is actually these people do need to go through a judicial process.
Correct.
Could they contradict each other? You're saying these two cases contradict each other.
Yeah, believe it or not, other cases will overwrite other cases.
Wrong. You're just blatantly wrong.
Father, you don't even know what case I'm talking about. How do you know I'm wrong? You've never read it.
The Garcia case, correct?
No.
No? Which case? Which case then are you talking about?
I don't want to talk to this guy anymore. I mean, after 6 instances of you just saying shit and not knowing what you're talking about and not listening to the words that I say, genuinely, I would have a more productive conversation with a dead person right now.
You said the Watkins case left it open-ended, and then this case specified it, and then you just said that the cases contradict each other. How could that not be mutually exclusive?
Because multiple justices can rule on different things. There's a quote from Ludecky v. Watkins saying that the question as to whether or not somebody's an alien enemy is open to judicial review.
That doesn't. Oh my God! That doesn't negate them not needing to go through a judicial process to be deported. I'm talking to a kindergartner.
JGG does.
This is ridiculous.
I understand.
No, it doesn't, because
a kindergartner talking to a rocket scientist will view everybody on the level as a kindergartner. Yeah.
Hold on. The Watkins case. You agree? The Watkins case explicitly says, Judge Frankfurt explicitly says, the court has found that there's the executive branch and that is deporting these people. They are not subject to a judicial hearing. Correct? You agree that that's what the Watkins case says?
It's not required. Yes.
Correct. And now you're saying that this new case that you're talking about
found that it is required. Yes.
So they contradict each other 100%.
Probably, yeah.
Jesus Christ. It doesn't say that, by the way, this new case.
What case? What case doesn't say that? One more time. What case doesn't say that?
All it is saying is...
Father, what case?
You can play this like gotcha game. Just tell me the name of the case.
No, see, that's the funny thing is that the gotcha question is you're claiming knowledge about a case that you can't name. That's what's so funny about it is you're saying, oh, this case says this. What case? I don't know.
You've already gave me the information that I need.
What the fuck?
Bro, that's a gotcha question.
Why do I need to know the name when you're reading your...
Because you're making statements about a case. I ask you what case says that. You say, I don't know. How do you know the case says that then?
Because you just read what the case says that you're talking about.
Okay, so what does the case not say?
I was trying to explain to you that just because after the fact can be a judicial review as to whether these people are alien enemies or not, doesn't necessitate.
So when I read the part of that case that says the notice must be afforded with reasonable time in such a manner that will actually allow them to seek habeas relief in the proper venue before such removals occur, did you just not listen?
Yeah, let me see. Just give me the name.
Yeah,
of the
I
case.
just didn't listen.
No, okay. I'm good.
Because now it apparently contradicts the Watkins
Parker,
case,
are you
which
good?
is very interesting.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good. I've been good. When he said that torture's cool, I was good.
Holy.
That's more.
By the way,
that's my time of being good.
Wow, Rinny. That was really good, dude.
Thanks.
It was one of the best debates you've had in a while.
Thanks.
I think he's being sarcastic.
I started playing.
No,
games.
I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious. It was one of the best debates you've had in a while.
Oh, really?
I think he was humiliated.
Yeah, not because the person who was making it was like a good debater. It was still a soft debate, but because the subject, you were able to dive like deep enough into the subject where I feel like the debate would be informative to somebody who's like kind of new to it.
Thanks. Already decided he doesn't fall under the AEA? With who? Garcia?
What was the other case?
Guys, apparently 190 testimonials is anecdotal. Even one's given under oath.
The biggest cases that litigate the Alien Enemies Act are Ludecky v. Watkins, JGG versus Trump, and then I think it's WMM versus Trump.
Isn't there forensic evidence too? Don't we have forensics on that?
Forensics on what? The torture?
Yeah, like wasn't there? Yeah.
Yeah, Scratchers isn't up to date with the JGG lore.
No, it's just a matter. Here's
the
the problem that guy was having is that he just thought that he could bullshit through not reading reports and then contradict somebody who has actually read reports. And to his credit, he probably can do that a lot because a lot of people bullshit through knowledge that they don't have. But I've actually read the shit that he was trying to comment on as some sort of authority, even though he knows fuck all about anything.
What was the citing for Ludecky? What was he saying?
He was saying that Ludecky explicitly said or precludes an alien enemy from having judicial review. What it actually says is that it's not required, but it can be open for the courts. And then what JGG litigated is that, okay, well, since the executive is clearly not good faith enough to provide these people with informed basis to determine they're an alien enemy act, or to determine they're an alien enemy, we'll give them habeas petitions, right? It does need to go through courts. They do need to have the ability to challenge their status as an alien enemy. But the initial case said that their due process rights were satisfied through a hearing board. That's what it said, right? If you don't provide them with the hearing board, their due process rights aren't satisfied. They have due process rights under the third. Yeah. They have due process rights under the Fifth Amendment. Yeah, I did record it.
I'm pretty sure all the cases in Ledecky, like all the Japanese and German nationals, also had to have appropriate notice. Like there was no point in time where the government assumed that they could just not grant them notice. Like they would tell them beforehand when they would apprehend them and on what basis. So I'm not exactly sure where this idea that notice is just like not a thing. Like the Trump admin gave like the aliens 12 hours, like just not sufficient at all.
Yeah, hold on.
How things are working.
Brandon, he wasn't disclosing information that you were trying to contend with, like, or that you had already made a statement about. You should have already known what you were making a statement about. Why does he have to disclose the information about a subject that you've already made statements of?
Yeah, like if you say this case says this, and then I say what case, and you say I don't know, right? Like I'm not gatekeeping information at that point. You shouldn't be making claims to stuff you don't know about. That's it. Right? Like it's not a mystery. Just go read the case. Like I'm not like I'll tell you right now, I've said it a billion times. It's JGG versus Trump. I'm not going to reiterate it for the 8th time because he wasn't listening throughout that entire conversation. That's a you problem.